Dan here at Sugar Tree Run. Today I want to show you how to clean an evaporator pan. This technique can be used mid-season in between periods of boiling, as well as at the end of the year when you're preparing for storage for the off-season. Okay, today we're going to show you how to do a final clean of your evaporator pan. We've done intermittent cleans throughout the season when there were breaks in the time that we were boiling between runs, but this is going to be our final clean for storage for the year. Now you can see we've got some niter buildup on the bottom of the pan, as well as a little bit of scaling on the sidewall from when we've boiled the sap down, because again, we're doing a batch process here in a flat pan. Now today what we're going to use is a mix of distilled vinegar, white vinegar, and permeate water. We're going to bring that up to a boil. We're going to let this sit for a while, and that's going to help lift a lot of this off the pan. Then we can come back and we can kind of scrub this out with a cloth or a sponge, non-abrasive preferably. And then for any really hard to remove areas, we may use some baking soda or potentially even a detergent-free scouring pad, but we want to limit the use of that to the greatest extent possible. And then we're going to do a pretty significant rinse of this, and then we're all set for final storage. Okay, so we're mixing in our permeate water here into our pan, and then I'm going to dump in the white vinegar. You don't want to add the vinegar directly to your pan. It is somewhat acidic. You want to make sure you do have at least a 50-50 dilution mix of the vinegar and the water, and I would recommend adding the water first and then mixing it in here if you have a flat pan, or you can pre-mix and then add together. Okay, we've got our distilled white vinegar here. We're going to mix this into our pan and then bring it up to a warm temperature, preferably a boil, to help try to lift a lot of this off. And then we'll come back and show you the results once we've done that. Now for both mixing the vinegar and water mix, as well as scrubbing the sides a little bit, I've got this large wooden handled natural fiber brush that's going to work great. So we're just going to come along the sides here and take our mixture and just kind of remove any of this scale that's up along the sides. And you can see that's already starting to come off quite nicely. And then we'll do the same on the bottom once this is soaked for a little while. And this is actually even before we started heating it. I just want to get some of this off before we heat the pan, and that causes a little more scaling on there than is already there. I want to point out this one area where we have a little bit of excessive buildup and a little bit of scorching on the bottom of the pan. We're going to pay attention to this as we clean this with our approach and see how this even works for things like that. Okay, we're going to check on the cleaning of our pan. We ended up putting our lid on here just to kind of keep the steam in so we don't lose that 50-50 white vinegar water mix. This lid actually was designed to be tiltable. There's a channel in the back that collects condensate. You actually saw a drip just run down in there, and that will run off. If you need to leave the lid on, if you're doing outside boiling, tilt it up in this position and not continue to have your steam drip back into your boil. So this is looking pretty clean on the bottom. We're going to take the lid off here and brush around with that big brush and make sure everything's been lifted off, and then I think we're about ready for a rinse. Okay, you can see all the buildup on the bottom of the pan is basically gone, including the spot that was over here, which was a little bit of scorching from our last boil of the season. We were really low on sap. So this is looking really nice. We'll just kind of brush the bottom with our brush, and we'll come along the corners and the sides as well. And you can see all that buildup and scaling has been completely removed. And we're back to a nice, shiny, clean pan. Okay, so we'll drain this, rinse it, and you're ready to store it. Okay, this is our pan, still with the mix in it, but you can see it's lifted everything off. It's very clean, including the sides, So we're going to take this and we're going to actually dump it down into this steam pan that we did some boiling in this year as well, and let that sit and lift all this off and clean that up. And then we're done cleaning our pans for the year. Okay, we've got this filling up. And again, we're going to let this sit. We're going to scrub it with that brush again, and this should come just as clean as our main pan. Okay, so that is how you clean your pans. Okay, you can see here after dumping out that vinegar water mix and giving this a nice rinse how clean our steam pan came. Our main pan came just as clean. So again, no scouring needed, just that soak and rinse. Okay, thanks again for stopping by Sugar Tree Run and seeing how to clean an evaporator pan. Hopefully you've learned today that you can do that with just some white vinegar and water and a brush. No harsh detergents, no heavy scouring, and you can restore your shiny stainless looking just like it did before the season started. So please like our videos below and be sure to subscribe to our channel to continue to learn more about maple sugaring as well as cleaning your equipment.